Hello everyone, welcome back to the Shopstead. Today's video is going to be the long-awaited part 3 of the Big Move series, where I am firmly planted out here. I've been working, I've done several jobs, and I am working towards getting more. The weeds out here are getting intense, but otherwise things are starting to look up. Now, for a while there, I will wholeheartedly admit that things were not good out here. I had very few jobs. Pretty much nothing was going on, and it was difficult. I was living like it was the Great Depression there for a little bit. However, harvest is about to start. I've gotten quite a few jobs from the local farmers, which has kind of funded being able to go find more jobs, because you got to have gas money to go out and visit all the farms and introduce yourself, which has been pretty good. Now, as you can see, things out here have changed quite a bit from the last video where everything was frozen. Not only are the weeds growing, I got another trailer and a bandsaw finally. I finally have a nice bandsaw. This is a Kalamazoo 9x16. It is a fantastic little unit. Now, the Shopstead is in a state of disarray, and I am working towards reorganizing and sort of making this place a very efficient area to work. Now, all of this here needs to get cleaned up and reorganized. For the most part, it can stay where it's at now, but I'd like to go through it. This bandsaw, it's not going to live here. Eventually, what I would like to do is take one of these concrete slabs I've got here and put it probably about here and have the bandsaw live on that concrete slab. I'll build a shed around it. I want a really long in-feed table, probably a 20 foot long in-feed table, 10 foot long out-feed table, and the bandsaw is going to live out here. Of course, I need to knock down all of these weeds. Luckily, a local farmer I've been doing some jobs for, he is going to sell me Roundup at cost, which will really help kill all of the weeds on this property. This concrete area has been really nice to work on. I've got the drill press table over here from the big gang drill, and that's been super nice to use. Of course, it's covered in crap right now, but I need to get my 6-inch Prentice 6-inch swivel jaw vise. It's a number 22. I need to clean that up, restore that, and I don't know if I'm going to attach it directly to the drill press table or if I'm going to build some kind of extension and attach the vise to that. So now, before we go into the main reefer shop, I want to talk about this 53-foot dry van trailer. Now, I wanted to buy a 53-foot dry van trailer towards the end of the year. I knew it wasn't going to be in the cards financially for me earlier than that. However, I'm a member of the American Trucking Historical Society, and one of my fellow members, had this dry van trailer in his yard. He asked me if I wanted it, and I said, well, I don't have the money. He said, I'll give you a really good deal on it. And I said, it doesn't matter. I am broker than a joke right now, and I don't want a loan or anything. I just don't have the money for it. It's just not in the cards. And he said, well, it's in my yard. It's in the way. I hate mowing around it. I don't care when I get the money. And even then, I was still kind of hemming and hawing. And he said, look, I'll deliver it to you. I don't care. I know you can use it. And so it's here now. I'm super grateful for it. The plan for it, what I wanted to get one for originally, is to turn the back half of it into a material storage area for 20-foot long bars, for all of my steel, for all of my mechanics tools, any tooling and tools that are not directly related to machining. Even the stuff that is directly related to machining, but I don't use it very often, that could get stored in here and free up a bunch of space in that trailer. I'm also probably going to be putting a horizontal milling machine in there dedicated to doing keyed shaft, because keyed shaft is a product I would like to advertise and sort of make and sell. Um, so that is something I would like to do at some point, and I would want to do it out of the back of this trailer, just so I'd have a lot more room. It would be really convenient to store my steel here, and then cut it up here on the bandsaw. In my head, it works out to be a really convenient and efficient system that sort of spreads things out a little bit more. Having my material stored in here would really help me out and free up a lot of space in the other trailer. Now, the front half of it is essentially going to replace the camper. I'm going to frame out and insulate. That's what I have this insulation over here for. I'm going to frame out and insulate the front half of this trailer. Now it's going to be echoey in here. And to frame it out, a buddy of mine said, he's a realtor, and he said, I've got this 20 foot by 20 foot metal building. It's all disassembled in the back of a house I'm trying to sell, and the buyers don't want it. It's kind of causing problems. If you can come and get it, it's yours. And so, very graciously, a couple buddies, we grabbed this trailer with a Kenworth, went over there, and in about 3 hours, we loaded everything up and brought everything out here. And so I'm going to be using all of this material, this framing material, or these studs, I guess you could call them, to frame out and then insulate the inside of this dry van trailer. And these studs are super wide. It's going to give me a lot of room for insulation. It's going to be really nice because while I'm not so worried about the winters out here, they are cold, but you can always warm up. I'm really worried about the summers. We've already gotten a couple of 100-degree days, and they have been miserable for the dog. I got a St. Bernard, and she doesn't do super well in the heat. Now, I do have a doghouse that I dug for her that is 2 feet deep. It's covered, good shaded area for her, so that has helped her out significantly, but I would really like to get this space framed out, insulated, and finished so that both of us have somewhere to go to cool off that is nice and temperature controlled, and with the thick insulation, it should be relatively energy efficient. So that is the current plan for a lot of this. We're going to be using this siding here for the inside, partially just to save money, because again, I'm not well endowed financially. And also, it's going to be a really nice rot and fire resistant finish for the inside. I'm not going to have to worry about water damage hardly, because it's all aluminum. And it's going to be really, really nice. As far as amenities inside, not really amenities, but I've got these 2 doors. This door here is going to go on the front left side to go out into the yard that we've got out there, the fenced-in area that Trekker runs around. And then this smaller door is going to go in between the 2 halves of the trailer, so I can go from the insulated area, the insulated sort of office, sort of living quarters, into the material storage area. The reason I went with such a narrow door is to allow me to build out some pretty wide material storage racks and have some workbenches on the other side without worrying about whether or not I can open up the door. It also adds to the wall space on the inside. And another friend of mine who renovates houses, he got me this really nice window. It's a triple pane, super high efficiency window. That window is going to go on that wall there, and it'll be the only window. It'll be facing the north end of the property, so the sun really shouldn't be shining inside of it, so inside the insulated space. So that's going to be really, really nice. Now we move on to inside the reefer trailer. This space in here is in an absolutely atrocious state. I'm going to be redoing everything and kind of reorganizing and cleaning here in the very near future. It was clean there for a little bit, but this cabinet fell and scattered a bunch of stuff. I ended up doing quite a few jobs, so there's a bunch of chips on the floor. And I've had a mouse problem, sadly. Um, I need to go out and buy a lot of poison the crap out of the damn mice because they are intense out here in the wheat fields. As far as the big machines go, the Reed Prentice, the Kearney Tracker, Comet, all of those, they are in their final positions. I'm super happy with where they're at. I'm super happy with the amount of room that I have around them. I have just enough room to work, but not so much room, and things aren't kind of in such a weird spot that I have wasted space. So I'm pretty happy, and I'm going to be gaining a lot of space because things like all of these toolboxes and this here welding table, all of this is going to go into the other trailer. This is all mill tooling. This fell and I haven't cleaned it up yet. That's going to go into the other trailer. All of this is going to go into the other trailer. All this stuff here, that's going to go into the other trailer. That is going to stay in here as well as that guy, but that's going to free up all of this space. I need to figure out where exactly I want to put these. This is a lot of turret lathe tooling. I've got a bunch of these square and hexagonal collets for the turret lathe. And this wooden box here is all of the round collets for the turret lathe. Now the turret lathe back here, I haven't run her in a little bit, but it has been an absolutely fantastic tool for the shop. I am so incredibly glad that I got this machine. It is an absolute workhorse. I did end up doing a bit of a modification to her. I swapped out I took this cross slide off and I milled this down so that this is now a square tool post. It does take about 2-inch tall tools, so I do need to make some custom shims, but that has been just an absolutely fantastic modification and fantastic machine overall. This thing has sped up so many different processes. The ability to feed in bars, to very quickly move parts in and out, and take parts in and out with the collet chuck, to have 6 tools and know that they're going to index extremely accurately with this big turret. It's just, it's such a nice machine. It does need some more horsepower, sadly. 15 horsepower does seem like a lot, but I think there's a parasitic loss somewhere in the system, and I'm not quite getting the full 15 horsepower. It feels like I'm only getting 10. So either I need to change up some tooling or figure out what the deal with that is. As far as the other machines go, they are pretty standard. The Kearney Tracker here has always been a workhorse. The Comet, I've been using it quite a bit, and it's got several quirks that are very, very unfortunate, let's just say. One of the biggest ones, well, maybe not the biggest, but one of them, this gear, this worm gear in here is stripped out. The quill, the spring needs to be replaced. I need to make an entirely new handle for it because the handle that I was given for it, not only does it not fit, so I tried to modify it and that just didn't work because the bore was off by a little bit. The quill has about 5/1000ths of an inch worth of play vertically in the bearings themselves. The speed mechanism, the infinitely variable speed mechanism, I need to either dive into that or I might just be replacing the head on this machine and try to find a step pulley head. I think now that I own my own machines that I'm going to have to agree with Josh Topper on the step pulley heads, that they're a lot more robust. You don't have to worry about the infinitely variable speed mechanisms. kind of that clockwork mechanism wearing out and wearing out belts and things like that. Because this mechanism, if you try to go all the way down in the RPM range and you try to, go as slow as the machine will go, it doesn't go down as far as it should, and it starts smoking and stalling the motor out. If you try to go to its highest RPM, the belt falls off. So I don't know what the deal is with it. You maybe get 2/3, maybe half of the actual range that you should have. I don't know why that is. It's kind of annoying. I wish I had known about all of these. Well, I kind of knew about these problems, but I didn't lay hands on this machine. I wish I had really known the extent of all the problems this machine had before we shoved her into a spot where I can't quite get her out without some disassembly. But I think with a bit of with some elbow grease, it should be a good machine. That, or I just take the table off and sell it. Take the table off, get it out of here, and then sell it to somebody else. And speaking of selling, all of the jobs that I got that I wanted to do on the Solberga, not only have they did dry up, but when I did have those jobs, I wasn't doing them on the Solberga. I was doing all of those jobs on the turret lathe because they were repeat plasma cut parts. So the Solberga is in fact for sale right now. I am trying to sell her because I don't quite have a use for her, especially with having the Comet milling machine. And the space would be really, really nice if I could get rid of her and then either put the welder here or maybe a workbench or something like that, tool storage. She is for sale. So this one might be going, it might not be going. Having a big heavy duty drill press in the shop is pretty nice, but I just, over the years, I haven't really needed one very often. So except for with this one company, and again, all of those jobs I'm doing on the turret lathe much faster than I can do them on the Solberga. So. And then the reed prentice is the reed prentice. It's a big wore out lathe, and it's another machine that I would like to replace at some point. I would love to get a 22-inch swing modern. The Accra or Kingston pattern machines is just a typical Taiwanese pattern. I have used many of those machines. I have liked all of them, and I would really like to get one of those machines to replace this guy, because the soft bed, there's a lot of different things on it that I don't like. It's limited in my speed ranges, and it's got a quirk where the half nuts don't always disengage. If there is any resistance on the carriage, like if you rest your hand on the hand wheel and you try to disengage the half nuts, you absolutely cannot do it, and you crash into the part, and it's a bad day. I've done it twice now, and it's a machine I would like to get rid of. As good as it is, I would really like to replace it with a more modern machine. Well, that's most of what's changed out here on the shopstead. Hopefully I'll be making a couple of more videos. I am looking at several cell phone tower boosters so that I can upload my own videos on the property. The issue right now with uploading videos here is I don't get signal. I recently switched. I used to get a weak signal with my old cell phone carrier, and I switched to a new carrier, and I don't get any amount of signal. So I'm going to be getting a signal booster, and hopefully that will help me out quite a bit. I don't have to go to town to upload videos, and or I won't have to go to town to upload videos, and hopefully that'll work out. So with all that being said, please like and subscribe if you would like to see more. Have a good day and enjoy these little clips of some of what I've been doing out here. Weeds out here getting a little tall, so a little 22-inch Murray is going to be on the job. I'm going to hurt you. Well, I got her apart, and holy shit, that's not supposed to look like that. Oh fuck.